Hello, good night, and welcome to my kitchen. So, this is actually my first official recording. So, welcome. In some video prior to this, I must have given you the spiel of how I ended up here, but tonight I'm going to be prepping for tomorrow's Sunday dinner, which is going to be oxtails and rice and peas. So, funny story, I came back from vacation and I found out that my fridge in my apartment was having issues again. Water was dripping from the freezer into the bottom of the fridge. So I called maintenance, and when they came, they're like, oh, since it's the second time it's happening, we're going to change the refrigerator. So I'm like, okay, cool. But it's like, you have to empty the refrigerator. So while emptying the refrigerator yesterday, I recognized that I have some oxtails in the freezer. Now, even though I had already decided what I was going to cook, and I bought me some HelloFresh, and it came yesterday. It was supposed to be delivered today, but it came yesterday. Whole other story. So I said I'm going to cook some oxtails since I had them in the fridge. So first thing I'm going to do is take my pan and I wash my meat. I don't care what the CDC says. I wash my meat. So we're going to quickly just wash the meat. I'm not going to use any vinegar or anything on this because it's oxtail and I don't like what it would do to it. If I was doing something like fish or chicken, fish I would use some lemon juice. Chicken I would use vinegar for sure. But I like to wash my meat. I'm from the islands. I'm black. And so I like to wash my meat. I also don't necessarily dry my meat. I know like when I am doing HelloFresh, it usually says to pat the meat dry, but I don't pat the meat dry. And like another way to make sure that you don't, get viruses from your meat everywhere, I just really like wash my hands in between like touching things. I already have my napkin here waiting. And so it's pretty easy. And like to make sure my stuff is properly seasoned and it tastes real good tomorrow, I like to pre-season the meat the night before and then leave it overnight. I don't have measurement or anything like that, but I'm going to walk you through what I use. So, and I don't have like special brands or anything. I tend to used to like buy what's like inexpensive and a lot. So the first thing we're going to use is some garlic powder, and so I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle some garlic powder all over that. And then I like spice. I don't have any Scotch bonnet pepper, which is what I would have wanted to use. So, but I don't. So I'm just going to sprinkle a generous amount of red chili flakes onto this. And I'll probably add some more tomorrow while I'm cooking. I also like Goya. Like, I found out about it like a few years ago, and I've been using adobo. That's the way it's pronounced for some time. So I'm gonna add some adobo into that. And I also use this one as well. So this first one is more of powdered seasoning. So it has like oregano. It has garlic, which I already added garlic, but that's fine. It's, it has some other stuff. It's like lots of good stuff. So I like using it. This one has garlic, pimento, onions, and some other stuff. Yeah, and so I use this as well as another way to get some of those, things that I don't use. I actually am going to add some actual, it's called allspice, but it's just like pimento. I'm gonna add a few of the pimentos here. I like to rinse my pimentos. I don't know if it does anything, but I like to rinse them before I put them in my food. And of course, sometimes I don't cook with salt because most of the other stuff has salt in it. But I'm going to put a little bit of salt on this as well. Just a pinch. I'm going to put a little bit of paprika. Again, I don't know, flavor palettes and all this stuff. So you're going to see me add some cumin. I have it from another recipe when I was on. A friend of mine, well, an ex of mine, gave me an Indian cookbook because I really like to cook and I really like to eat. So a few years ago, and I bought so I started buying cumin as a part of the recipe called for it. And I don't think I put the black pepper in yet, but I'm gonna add some actual black pepper into this as well. And another thing that is needed to make the oxtails be really brown. Like most people in America or like in some of the Caribbean, I said they'll brown the oxtail first and then they will like stew it in order to get that color. But in Jamaica, good old browning. If you don't have browning, you can use, I think, soy sauce, like it's brown. But then with the soy sauce, you may have to use more. It might change the taste of the oxtails. And again, you might have to brown it, but I'll just use, I'm Jamaican. And so, okay then, this is not gonna work. I guess I haven't really used this in a really long time. So I think I'm gonna have to go off camera and open this and be back. I'll be right back. And we're back. So I hadn't used the browning in a really long time, and it has this tendency, like, I guess there was some stuff around the edge, so it got like really sticky and hard to open. I'll just like run it under the hot water at the pipe. I use like the knife to lift the cork up just a little bit to get the warm water under there to kind of loosen it up. And like, you don't need a lot, like, I don't know if you can see it, but you don't really need a lot because, and like after you put it on, and I'll show you what's in the pot, like, this is what it looks like. It's not a lot, but what I'll do to figure out like if it needs more is that I'll mix it up. And I'm not gonna like, normally I'd put my hands in, but I do have white nails on and all of that. So I'm just gonna use this spoon and just like mix everything up in my thing. And that's it. That's how you prep your oxtail. These oxtails are really big. I wish I had like I made them a little smaller, but this is how my friend bought them for me. You just need to make sure that like everything that you put into the container is like fully on it. Like, I may have to put some more browning based on how this is made, or maybe because the browning is really thick. Like, I'll show you what it looks like. Like, it's coming together nicely, but I think I might need to put some more browning on it, or just maybe because I'm not using my hands and I'm being all bougie, as my family would say. Okay, I figured out how to make this. Listen, I figure out how to use a spoon to do everything. I know how to knead flour with a spoon. One of these days I'll show you. But like, this is what I'm trying to avoid. Like, see, like, I don't want my nails, and I could use the gloves. I know. I'm trying to like preempt all the things I think people put in the like in the comments and be like, oh, all you gotta do is put the gloves on. But I don't want to put gloves on when I can use a spoon and be done. So there it is. My meat is seasoned. I'm gonna cover this up and let it sit outside for a little bit, and then I'm gonna put it in the fridge before I go to bed. And then tomorrow I'll take it out and we'll be back when I make my oxtails. All right, see you tomorrow. Sunday, I had church, I had breakfast. I don't like breakfast this morning. And hey fam, welcome back. It's Sunday. I had church, I had breakfast. I don't like breakfast this morning. And I'm back in the kitchen, and I only have one pressure cooker, so we're gonna have to do this in stages. So I'm gonna start with my red peas. Anybody in Jamaica who knows, like, Sunday is red peas, rice, and peas, except for during the Christmas holidays when we do gunga rice and peas, which is called pigeon peas here. It's like in the tin, which is what I use when I'm here. But red peas, and trusted red peas is nothing without some coconut milk. As a kid, oh my God, humble beginnings, we didn't have a blender. And so what I had to do is get up, break the coconut, ups it out, which means take it out of the shell, right? And then I had to get a grater and grate the coconut, and then you squeeze that to get the coconut milk to make the rice and peas. And that was like an every Sunday thing. And worse, if mom decides to make rice and peas in the middle of the week, you're doing it twice. And then of course you got a blender, but still you had to break the coconut, you had to ups it out, and you had to slice it up and then put it in the blender, blend it up and all that stuff. But God bless Grace and whomever came up with powdered coconut milk. Yes, in the US you have tin coconut milk, but in the islands, you know, things are not as easy to have to import it. We don't have that kind of money. And so this is the next best thing. And I have it stocked up in my kitchen. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to, and I'm not sure if you can see me from all the way over there. So we're gonna try to do this. So I'm trying to figure out like where in the kitchen to set up so you can see like all the things at once. But you're gonna start with this. I'm gonna empty, it's maybe like 2/3 packet that's in this because I've used it for, I use coconut milk in a few things, like when I'm making curries or when I'm making stewed peas. It's something that you can use to do everything. I already had my water boiled, my kettle was already on. So I'm just gonna pour some hot water on this to kind of break down the powder. And then I got my spoon here and I'm gonna go ahead and mix this up. I'm just gonna like mix it out. It's gonna dissolve mostly by itself, but just mix it up. Make sure there are no lumps. I don't know if you can see that. We over here doing the thing. That there are no lumps. Oops, I made a mess. So I was trying to do too much. That there are no lumps in, and we're gonna do this, because don't touch your hair while you're cooking. You've broken the golden rule of cooking online. Just kidding. I'm eating by myself, like I'm cooking for myself, but yeah, don't touch your hair. So I mix this out. I'll let that stay there until it dissolves. The next thing I have to do is, yes, I wash my stuff. So the first thing I'm going to do is that I need to, or the next thing I have to do is to wash my peas. So because it's just me, I'm going to try and measure out like half of the peas and just like pour it into my pot here. Like these peas are pretty inexpensive. As I pour this out, I see on the packet it's like $1.99. So pretty inexpensive. Get the last piece out there. That's about it. So then I'm going to do the trusted washing of the peas. It doesn't take a lot to wash. Sometimes there's like dirt inside of it, or there's other things. You just like wash the peas. Now, give you just a little bit more of the here so you can see me washing the peas. So yeah, I'm just like yeah, just doing that. Just like make sure there's no dirt, there's no stones, there's nothing kind of like in the peas. I'm just gonna drain the water off here before I do anything else. One of my peas escaped. Okay. My sink is clean, so just throw it back in there. So now that I have my peas washed, I'm just gonna finish mixing my coconut milk out. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and pour this bad boy in. I will also, let me just grab my trusted silicone thingy, put my spoon on there. So I'm just gonna pour a bit more of the hot water I had before into this to get out anything that's left in my container, my bowl. Get all of the goodness in there. Make sure you don't burn yourself while you're trying to do this, just like rinse out the bowl. Rinse the bowl out, like Jamaican say. And then I'm just going to add regular cold water. There is no particular measurement on how much water you need to put into this. I just kind of guesstimate like everything else I do in the kitchen. So that's the amount of water we're going to put in. Of course, we're going to put our trusted salt. Sometimes I put garlic powder in, but I tend to not put with a lot of salt. I do it just enough so that I can not eat fresh food. But normally the other stuff I'll put in the next stage of the rice and peas will also help to give the rice flavor. I also am going to put a little bit of minced garlic into this. One, I think it helps to soften the peas. I didn't soak it. Another way to do it, if you want it to like happen very quickly, is to soak it for a few hours or overnight. I didn't do that, and so we're just gonna put some garlic in it. I also like to put garlic in my peas because I have heard that like red peas not cooked well can give you like tummy rumblings, and I don't want that. I'm gonna put a little bit more water in here. And the thing about it is like, even if I have too much water, it's okay. I will need water to cook the rice anyway. And so that's fine. And I'll just get, I can't tell here so I let my hand up. It's fine. And so I can do that. And yeah, And the pressure is going to like take out most of the water as well. I won't lift the pot up to get you to see. So what I'm going to do is just do a quick recording over here so you can see what's in the pot. Right. All right, so that's my coconut milk. I'm just going to clean up my mess I made here a little bit. And then all I'm gonna do now is put my pressure cooker on. The pressure cooker, I'll use it because it will make sure that the stuff gets cooked really quickly. I'm putting it on the highest setting, which is 2, and then I'm gonna put it on medium to high flame. And I'll check it in about like 15 to 20 minutes and see how far the piece is at. That's how I know how to figure out like how long to pressure it for. I'll first do it like 15-20 minutes, see where it's at. You don't want to leave it in there too long. The pressure cooker is doing things, as it's called, a pressure cooker, quickly under pressure, and it will cook really fastly. It will cook quickly, and if you're not paying attention, it can easily burn. There's some, like a container that comes in some of the pressure cookers that you can put at the bottom to make sure that even if all of the liquid comes out, it doesn't start sticking and burning, but I don't use it. I just check it in 15-20 minutes. So we'll be back in about 20 minutes. Well, it won't be 20 minutes for you, it'll be 20 minutes for me, because when you see this, the video will be all done, but I'll be back. Next time, we'll be washing the pressure cooker and reusing it for our So a lot of this is harder than it looks. Just get everything in place so I can record seamlessly. So I'm gonna do, as you can see behind me, I got more things out. I got rice, I got a new pot on the stove. A lot of stuff is happening. That's what happens when I speak too fast. I tend to speak really fast. But yeah, I'm gonna do a whole bunch of stuff offline. I'm gonna try to record as much of it as I can. Fast forward through it so you can at least get a sense of what I did. And I'll come back when I have like putting things together in the pot. All right, see you. So, come back up here and talk to me. So you might be wondering, I wash my rice. And the reason why I wash my rice is, again, one, I believe, no, I don't know if this is true, it gets some of the starch off of the rice. Like, all that bad carbs goes away. Hey, what doesn't go away by washing goes away by praying. Praying away those calories. The other reason was, like, the rice is dirty. Like, people have touched the rice. It's gone through different things, and so when I say wash my rice, by the way, I don't mean like soap. I mean I rinse the rice. I run it under water a few times, pour it off until it gets a little bit less cloudy. This type of rice doesn't have, like, when you buy bulk rice, like in the Caribbean, it comes with still like shells over the rice, like the ones that didn't get, like, the shell didn't come off it properly is still in the rice. And there's a lot of stuff, like sometimes stone is in the rice. So I've just come accustomed to rinsing my rice before I cook. So another thing is that you'll see is I have another pot on the stove. I cook my rice in a rice cooker because I have burnt enough rice in my lifetime and I don't want to burn anymore. So I use my rice cooker, but there is something about, like, once the peas is done, I add some more coconut milk to it to give it that nice rich flavor to put the rice in. And I also season the pot, so you've seen me do that before. So I season it in a regular pot. Just one more pot to wash. And I don't leave it in. I could leave it in that pot to cook, but then I have to make sure that everything is right. I feel like my rice cooker does the job, and I never burn the rice. So I put like onion in it because like I don't have a lot of like the stuff I would use. So I would put scallion, thyme, pimento seed. I put the onion into a little bit of flavor with the scallion, and I put the mix I use that's in the oxtail that has like the thyme and the onion and the pimento seed in powder form. So I put that in. I add a little bit more salt and I add some black pepper. If I was home, I would also use Scotch bonnet, a nice green Scotch bonnet pepper. But I don't have any, and this is a last minute thing. Like I said last night, I'm gonna cook this oxtail. And so I don't have all of that, but I'm gonna make it work. And I know it's gonna taste good. And I add extra coconut powder at the end because I feel like the powder, like it's all convenient, but you miss some of the the oomph of like the actual rich coconut milk. You can also hear the pressure going in the background. That's my oxtails going at it. Yeah, so keep with it. I'm gonna start making sides off camera, and I'll show you a little bit of that maybe. I don't know. We'll see how I feel, because this is not as easy as I thought it would be. Because I want to make sure that you're seeing everything. It's boiling up. I am going to add in, the stuff that I cut up earlier off camera, which is my onions, my tomatoes, my sweet peppers, and my tomato. Just throw them all in there. I am also going to, and like I haven't tasted the pot. I rarely ever taste the pot. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'll taste it at least when I'm making the gravy. So I'm gonna add generous amounts of the powdered seasoning, the same ones I used yesterday, because I feel like most of it gets pressured out with all of the stuff that happened. So I'm adding, like I said, a generous amount of all of the seasonings from yesterday, because this is the gravy. This is why Jamaicans go to the restaurant or other people and say fried chicken with oxtail gravy, and they just charge you for it because the gravy is the good stuff. So you have to make sure that that is properly seasoned up. And I'm using some Mrs. Dash salt-free. I had it in the cupboard. Listen, you can never have too much seasoning. You can have too much salt, but not too much seasoning. I'm not going to add any more pimento, because I remember when I was seasoning it up yesterday, I added pimento. So, should I? I can. I'm going to add a few bits of fresh pimento. Again, wash my pimentos and throw them in there. And then I'm going to go stir that pot. This spoon here. So we're going to mix that all up. And leave it to simmer a bit. I so wish I had some Scotch bonnet pepper. So we're gonna let that simmer a bit, and then yeah, we improvise. We'll add something else. Use a different pot cover. while the stew is coming down, reducing with the stuff I put in earlier, we're gonna add this soon, which is like, oxtail can be cooked without butter beans, but it's better with it. It adds the richness to the gravy. It gives some oomph to the meal. And so we're gonna add this last because it's already cooked and you don't wanna like put it in there for too long and have it boiled and mashed out. You can mash some of it in the gravy as it's there so it can help to thicken it. We'll see if I use a thickener for this. If I do feel like I need a thickener, I'll just use a little bit of cornstarch with some water. But I don't think I'm gonna need it. But you can crush some of the baked beans in the oxtail to help to thicken the gravy. And if you don't have no cornstarch and you don't have no butter bean, you can use some flour and water. A little bit of flour and a little bit of water is the best thickener you can use when you don't have all of the fancy stuff. All right, so see you in a bit. We're almost done. And you see all that clicking in your ear in the background is the charm and culture of New York City apartments that does not have central air HVAC systems, and we still using steam heat in these radiator AC units, right? So, fork in hand, I'm about to dig in to this meal I prepared. Yeah, let's see. Lord, I thank you for your many blessings. Thank you for this meal. Thank you for everything. May it be nourishing to my body and to my soul. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. What I want. It's like my nothing. A good old oxtail. No words. So I'm about to go enjoy my dinner. The spice I kick. And see you next time.